Imagine waking up tomorrow to find that the whole world's financial system has changed in the night. Like they used to, banks can't stop the flow of money. It used to take 3 to 5 days to send money across borders, but now it can be done quickly and for almost nothing. Now, businesses of all sizes can move money around as easily as they send an email. XRP, the digital backbone of the new financial era, is at the heart of it all. This is not advice about money. The world's financial system has been based on old, patchwork systems held together with band-aids, slow correspondent banks, and expensive middlemen for more than 100 years. But that time is now over. It's like the internet broke down walls between people who wanted to talk to each other. XRP and the technology that powers it are doing the same thing for money. Also, I made the XRP Millionaire Plan for you if you're really serious about getting ready for this shift. It's in the message that's been pinned below this video. There are powerful documents, infographics, videos, and other things inside that show you how XRP is going to take over global banking. Check it out for sure. It might change the way you see the whole market. This moment is very special because of this. Trust, power, and management have always been important when it comes to money. Countries are proud of their fiat currencies because they support their economic freedom. When digital assets come out, however, they will be the first thing that lets value move freely across borders without the old gatekeeper's authority. This is known by governments, central banks, and financial companies. That's why CBDCs are being made in almost every big economy. But there's a catch. CBDCs can't solve the last mile problem on their own. They can speed up settlements within a country, but they can't connect people all over the world. They don't help keep things fair. That's where XRP comes in. Ripple made the XRP system with one goal in mind: to be the asset that connects the different parts of the financial world. It was designed to be fast, cheap, and able to work with other currencies, networks, and countries. The idea behind Bitcoin was to make a digital form of gold. The idea behind XRP was to be the missing link in global funding. Think about this. The way things are now, companies all over the world have to pre-fund accounts. Lots of money is being kept in a bank in New York in case they need to settle a bill in Tokyo or Sao Paulo. That's trapped capital or money that is stuck and not being used. Businesses and customers pay for these rolls because they cost money to keep up. With XRP, this waste goes away. With on-demand funding, institutions can settle right away in the local currency they need, freeing up billions of dollars worth of value that had been stuck. This is not just an idea, it's real. RippleNet and its payment systems have already been used by banks and fintechs in Latin America, Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. Transactions that used to take days of waiting and several middlemen are now finished in seconds. XRP was also made with law and business use in mind, which is different from most cryptocurrencies. Because of this, financial institutions feel safe trying it, using it, and making it bigger. That being said, compatibility is the real key. One world CBDC is not the future. That is just a dream. Each country wants to be in charge of its own money, laws, and borders. It's the neutral bridge or settlement layer that they really want. This is something that no one government owns, but everyone can depend on. With open standards, the internet works. In the same way, neutral digital assets will run the future of money, and XRP is at the front of the line. Ripple's CTO, David Schwartz, has made it clear. Central banks will issue CBDCs, but they will be limited by politics, capital controls, and laws in different countries. The world will fall back into the same broken groups we have now if we don't build a neutral bridge. XRP takes care of that. It makes it possible for CBDCs, stablecoins, tokenized stocks, and regular money to all work together. The numbers also tell the truth. It takes 3 to 5 seconds for XRP to settle a deal. It can handle up to 1,500 events per second and can go even faster if needed. How much does each deal cost? Different parts of a cent. The old SWIFT network, on the other hand, moves trillions of dollars every day, but often takes days to finish, which costs businesses billions of dollars in fees. It's impossible to miss the difference. You see that this isn't just about payments when you zoom out. It's about making world money available. Think about what would happen if small and medium-sized businesses that could never trade with other countries because of the slow and expensive transfers suddenly had the same financial power as the biggest companies. Imagine that foreign workers could send money back home right away without having to pay fees. Imagine capital markets that can instantly settle and tokenize, opening up whole new industries and business possibilities. XRP is made for the new Internet of Value. The parallel is easy to see. Before there was the Internet, private networks were run by companies like AT&T, IBM, and others. They were expensive, broken up, and couldn't work together. Then there was the Internet, which made everything open and compatible so that everyone could use it. The switches that linked those old private networks to the new Internet were made by Cisco. Ripple and XRP are both used for money today and do the same thing. They link all of the different payment networks, cryptocurrency exchanges, and asset classes that are out there. It's still early. Thought about where the web was in 1995. Dial-up lines that are slow, not many websites, and a lot of doubters. That's where funds around the world are now. But once adoption hits critical mass, the change can't be undone, just like the Internet did. XRP is set up to be right in the middle of that growth. Some people will say that there are already a lot of cryptocurrencies, so why should you use XRP? The difference lies in the goal. Most cryptocurrencies were created as either risky investments or trials in a certain area. From the start, XRP was meant to be a financial tool for businesses and governments. That's why it's been put through real-life tests for almost 10 years. That's why its technology lets assets be given, compliance features be added, and systems to work together. There's more to it than that. It's the building blocks for the next wave of banking. Now, the government knows this too. This is known by institutions. Because it's not based on hype, XRP has been able to weather governmental scrutiny, market volatility, and many other problems. It was made to be useful. It is now more clear than ever what its role is as a neutral payment asset. We're moving into a new era where money can move around like knowledge, and XRP is the key that makes this possible. This is not a guessing game. It's about how things will be built in the future. Viewing things in that way helps you understand why XRP is still unique, why its use is growing quickly, and why it's at the center of the biggest change in money since the Internet began. This is just the start. The great thing about this change is that it helps everyone, not just banks and states. Large institutions with the money, equipment, and power to find their way through the complicated web of correspondent banking have been the only ones able to access global finance for decades. But now that digital assets like XRP are around, small businesses, companies, entrepreneurs, and even regular people can use that power. Think about the worker who sends money back home. At the moment, some of the world's most expensive payment routes are those that send money back and forth between the US and Latin America or between Europe and Africa. Fees can take up to 10% to 7% of the payment. That means that if someone gives $200, their family might only get $180, and it takes days for the money to get there. With XRP, that same payment can be settled right away for a very small amount of money. No waiting, no middlemen, and no losses that aren't necessary. Or think about small and medium-sized businesses that want to grow in other countries. Many of them say that the cost and difficulty of payments are stopping them, not the demand in the market. They have to deal with unstable currencies, set up accounts in other countries, and wait for payment, all of which use up capital and slow down growth. With the help of a neutral bridge like XRP, these companies can connect directly to global funding. They can pay their suppliers in local currencies, get paid by buyers in other countries, and grow much more than they could before. That's not all. Being tokenized is the next big thing. The day will come when stocks, bonds, real estate, and even commodities are all digitalized and can be bought and sold in any time of day or night. That opens up whole new markets and chances, but it also means that assets need to be able to settle quickly. If each tokenized good or investment is on its own separate platform or chain, liquidity will be broken up and value will be trapped. Once more, a neutral settling asset is the key that opens all of the doors. This is exactly what XRP was made for. This is why interoperability isn't just a trendy word, it's what the future banking system will be built on. In the same way that the internet linked many private networks together to form the global web, the next financial change will link many digital and home systems together to form a global value network. The best technology is the one that makes all the other technologies work together. Let's talk about CBDCs once more because this is very important. Central banks are working hard to turn their currencies into digital ones. The European Central Bank is working on making the euro digital. It is being tested by the People's Bank of China. The Federal Reserve is looking into making a digital dollar. Dozens of other central banks are doing the same thing. But no matter how strong CBDCs sound, they are all tied to the rules and laws of the country that issued them. And there are limits on how much of the digital yuan can be spent. The digital euro will have to follow European rules. The US will be in charge of the digital dollar. This means that there will never be a single CBDC that works for everyone. A Nigerian company won't want to count on a CBDC that is run by Washington or Beijing. A Brazilian bank won't want to depend on a system that is tied to the euro all the time. Too much is riding on sovereignty. That's why there has to be connectivity through a neutral bridge asset. Without it, we'll have digital versions of the silos we have now. What XRP gives you is freedom. It is not owned by any government. It's not tied to any one government. It was created to connect different CBDCs, stablecoins, and fiat currencies without making anyone give up power. Its neutrality is what makes it so important in a world where competition is high and trust is hard to come by, and the systems that do well are the ones that are open, as history has shown. No one was forced to join a single company's secret network in order to build the internet. Anyone could join because it was made with open standards and protocols that could work with other systems. When it comes to money, the future will be built on open bridges, not closed bunkers. XRP is a good example of this idea. Another important thing is liquidity. Liquidity is spread out among many pools in the current setup. Banks hold accounts for Nostro and Vostro in a huge number of different currencies. All over the world, companies keep their cash on hand. Costs go up and productivity goes down because of this fragmentation. These problems go away when liquidity is concentrated through a neutral asset like XRP. Banks don't have to keep money in pre-funded accounts any longer. They can get cash whenever they need it, quickly, and for a lot less money. Don't think this is only about banks saving money either. It's about getting trillions of dollars of capital out of places where it's stuck for the world economy. Just think about what will happen when companies get that money back. They can grow, hire people, use new ideas and spend. They can grow into new areas and make new chances for themselves. That's what happens when you change the way the world financial system works. Sorry for the pun. Adoption does not happen right away, of course. It took years of slow growth before the internet became widely used, and the same thing will happen here. But it's easy to see the path. It's not necessary for banks to replace all of their tools right away. They can add RippleNet, try out XRP for managing liquidity, and grow over time. As you move from one corridor to the next, the network effect gets bigger. Interoperability has clear benefits that can't be denied once it's in place. Faster settlement times, lower costs, less danger, and easier access to credit for more people. It becomes less competitive to not use it after a certain point. That's how change gets around. It's not because it's required, but because it's the only choice left. Check out what's going on in places like the Middle East and Southeast Asia. These areas are skipping over old systems of infrastructure and going straight to new digital ones. Solutions based on Ripple technology are being tested and used by banks in places like Singapore, the Philippines, and the UAE. In some cases, they're not using the old rails at all. That shows what the future will be like. And now there's one more layer to think about: how people buy things. People expect payments to be made faster, not just want them. Think about how the internet changed how people expected to talk to each other. People didn't want to wait 3 days for a letter to come after email became popular. Money is going through the same thing. People will not put up with the old system for long once they experience quick settlement. This makes a strong feedback loop. Businesses use options that use XRP because they save them money and lower their risk. People want payments to be made faster and cheaper. They have to keep up or else they'll lose business. The whole environment changes little by little. It's interesting that we're not just talking about better payments. We're talking about changing the way value is stored. When money, assets, and contracts can all move quickly and without any problems, the chances are greater. Speed and efficiency can change the way whole industries work. Financial inclusion can reach billions of people who aren't getting enough help right now. Finally, global trade can run on lines that are up to date with the 21st century, and the time couldn't be more important. The world economy is having a hard time. Countries and organizations are having to rethink old beliefs because of things like rising debt, inflation, and problems in the supply chain. It's not a nice to have in this situation. Solutions that boost speed and cut costs are a must. XRP is one of the most important tools in this change because it acts as a bridge asset. Now, people who are against crypto will say that the market is too crowded. There are thousands of digital goods, but there is one change: utility built for a purpose. Bitcoin is a good way to keep your money safe. As a tool for smart contracts, Ethereum is very strong. XRP has a unique use case. It's the neutral settlement asset that was made for liquidity and cross-border payments. That clear sense of purpose is what keeps institutions interested in it even after years of problems and instability. Also, don't forget to be strong. There have been waves of doubt, regulatory inspection, and changes in the market for XRP. Even so, it is still one of the world's most valuable and well-known digital assets. Its ability to last shows how useful it is and how it fits into the bigger picture. The current system isn't working well. CBDCs are becoming more popular. We need to be able to use different cryptocurrencies together, and people want faster transactions. This is why XRP is at the heart of this story. It has nothing to do with guesswork. At the heart of global banking are real problems that need to be solved. That's the reason the movement doesn't stop. It's getting faster. Something even more important starts to happen as adoption grows. Trust changes. Banks, governments, and other financial groups have been linked to trust in money for hundreds of years. You had faith that your bank would handle the wire transfer, that your country's central bank would keep the value of your currency stable, and that global payment networks would eventually send your money to other countries. What does that mean when trust is broken? People lost faith in banks during the 2008 financial meltdown. The pandemic showed how weak supply lines and financial networks can be around the world. As prices go up, many people aren't sure if their savings are really safe. As things stand, people are looking for other options, something that works better, faster, and more fairly. In this case, digital tools come in handy, and XRP stands out from the rest. With XRP, you don't have to trust a single authority. Its design spreads that trust across a decentralized log that is checked by people who are not part of the project. And because it was made for institutional grade payments, it strikes a good mix between performance and decentralization. It is a rare asset in the noisy crypto world because it is fast, neutral, and trustworthy. This is why that's important. As the old system breaks down more often, people want new answers. When a cross-border payment is late, a remittance is charged fees, or a bank stops a transaction, people and companies look for other ways to do business. In this case, XRP is the better choice. These are the most important things to talk about when we talk about interoperability in the long run. Imagine a world where China has a digital yuan, the US has a digital dollar, and dozens of other countries all have their own CBDCs. There are also hundreds of stablecoins, tokenized stocks, tokenized real estate, and a huge number of other digital assets. This future will be a mess without connectivity, and there are hundreds of walled gardens and none of them can talk to the others. Think about the opposite. Imagine a neutral bridge that lets all of these assets talk to each other. A company in India could settle with the seller in Mexico right away. A trader in London could go to Singapore and buy a tokenized bond. A person in Kenya could get money sent to them from Canada right away in their own currency. That's the world that XRP is meant to open up. It's not about getting rid of stablecoins or CBDCs. It's about linking them. XRP doesn't go up against these assets. Instead, it adds to them. That difference is strong. While countries work on making their own digital currencies, XRP makes it possible for those currencies to be used all over the world. CBDCs are still just tests in the United States without a neutral settlement layer. With XRP, they join a network of value that spans the world. Another important factor is how well it works. The world economy is hurt by every inefficiency in the way things are done now. The money is locked up in accounts that have already been paid. A lot of money is lost every year because of fees, delays, and mistakes. There are settlement bottlenecks that slow down whole businesses. XRP not only saves money by getting rid of these wastes, but it also speeds up economic growth. Take a look at supply lines. When a maker gets parts from more than one country, they have to deal with constant delays in payments that don't go through correctly. When sellers are paid right away in their own currencies, production speeds up, costs go down, and efficiency goes up. This has an effect on many different types of businesses. Or think about the stock market. These days, it can take up to 3 days to settle stocks. That makes things risky and locks up money. Capital markets move faster, have more money, and are more stable when tokenization and instant settlement are driven by a neutral bridge. These are big steps forward. They're changes to the system. They change the way that money moves around the world's economy, and the effect gets stronger over time, just like how the internet changed how information moves. Things get better for the system as more people use them. The best part is now here. The change we want isn't a far-off dream. It's already moving. This company, Ripple, has been making payment systems for businesses for almost 10 years. In fact, banks, fintechs, and payment providers are already using XRP to handle their cash flow and settle transactions across borders. The building blocks are here. The curve for acceptance is going up. This is what happens every time there is a big change in technology. As it starts out, the technology seems narrow, experimental, and even pointless. Then, as more people use it, it becomes the model that everyone builds on. The web, cell phones, and cloud computers. Each one began small, faced doubt, and then changed the world. XRP is going in the same direction. Things are going digital again, but this time it's value instead of knowledge. A lot of doubters ask, why XRP and not another asset? It all comes down to how it was made. Bitcoin was made to be a different way to keep value, like digital gold. Ethereum was made to be a private computer that can be used to run apps and smart contracts. Fast, cheap, and open settlement is what XRP was made for. Payments. Each plays a part, but because it was designed to connect the world financial system, XRP is the only one that can do it, and that style will last. Deals are finalized in seconds. Fees are very small amounts of money. A lot of events can happen on the network every second, and it can handle even more. It works with given assets, which makes it easy to tokenize. It's not controlled, but it's ready for businesses. That mix is hard to find, and it's what keeps XRP going. Being neutral is another benefit. Institutions and governments might not trust a digital asset that is only owned by one country. However, XRP is not controlled by any one country or group. It lives on its own, is governed by consensus, and is recognized around the world. That balance is very important in a world where trust between countries isn't always strong. One country will not control all the other countries when it comes to money in the future. It will be about making links between people so that they can all get along. That's what XRP does, not to get rid of paper currencies, but to link them. Not to go up against CBDCs, but to help them. Not to take away organizations' power, but to help them do their jobs better. In the future, fast, global, interoperable settlement won't be a luxury. It's what people expect, and XRP will be at the center when that assumption turns out to be true. Think about how quickly people start using a new technology after it hits a certain point. The web grew slowly for many years. Then all of a sudden it was everywhere. The same thing happened with smartphones. This is getting close to the tipping point for digital payments right now. If we use XRP for payment, the next wave of growth might be even bigger than the last one. This is what makes it exciting. It's still early. The global financial system hasn't totally changed yet, but more people are starting to use it. That means there are a lot of chances ahead. As more institutions join together, more people expect better experiences and more tokens are issued. XRP's role only gets stronger. This is why it's so important to understand XRP right now. It's not just one more coin. It leads to the next big thing in money. The router is what links the value-added networks that are spread out. It's what holds the new financial internet together. If you look at it that way, you can see that we are seeing history being made. Most people still don't understand how big this is, just like they didn't in the early days of the internet. But those who do, those who are paying attention, have a chance to get ahead of the curve. The world's banking system is being changed right now. XRP isn't just a footnote in that story. It's one of the main people. What's coming next is only going to get stronger. I've made something special for you if you want to learn more about this shift. How to become an XRP millionaire. In the comment below that has been saved, you'll find a full set of documents, infographics, videos, and other materials inside that explain in detail how XRP is changed the future of global banking. Do not miss it. The way you see things now might change because of it.